The XCR moniker has carried around some pretty big brass with it in the past, and for 2018, can the 600 class really stand up to that kind of pressure and carry the weight? The 800 XCR has been nothing short of incredible in the switchback platform. On our side of the fence, it's as popular as can be, and delivers everything you could ask from a premium level sled that carries the XCR badge, but as expected, the 800cc sticker as well. So does the 600 Liberty really have the brass? And when you stick it in a short track 120-inch unconventional shock out of skid design, does it really have what it takes? And at the end of the day, am I going to quit asking all of these dramatic questions? Yes, I am. And yes, the XCR 600 does have the chops. So let's talk about the obvious, this being the first time for the XCR and the Axis platform to bear the 600 name. And we're all very pleased with the delivery of power and the performance from the Cleanfire 600. Now keep in mind, this engine is not new to the class, but it's definitely a strong contender, and you can be sure that others are noticing as Arctic Cat brought out its answer, the 600 C-Tech 2, and now Skidoo's rebuttal, the E-Tech 600R. You'll have to wait till next season to see a 600 class shootout, but for right now, the 600 Cleanfire is not any slouch, and there's definitely no new tech motor that's completely slammed the door in its face. You'll talk to a lot of folks who love the way the 600 Liberty spools up, and I can't disagree because it hits like a ton of bricks and it builds steam like only an 800 class engine should. The lighter engine internals allow this motor to spool quicker, and the overall lighter weight of the engine package over an 800 makes the sled feel much more nimble. I've been surprised recently with the number of guys I talk to who won't give up their 600 Polaris for the 800, and I don't blame them. If you don't need big top-end miles per hour, there's really no drawbacks at all. So it's got the power that a cross-country racer or XCR must have. But what about the Rush? What do we think about this unconventional out-of-skid shock design still? In the extended switchback length, we think it's pretty incredible, and that's why it won the Softie for this year. It keeps everyone who throws a leg over it happy. Now when you chop a few inches off and go with the Rush-sized length, do you sacrifice some compliance? Yeah, you do, but hey, we all know the 120s aren't the smoothest riding rear skids in the biz, and it's probably the reason why the entire industry seems to be going in the direction of 129 as the new short tracks. The Rush skid and overstructure, it's not bad, so don't read me that way. It's just that there's some fine adjustments that need to be made for it to work the best that it can. If you could jump on the 2019 Indy 129, you'd understand what I'm saying because you get a better range of compliance with very minimal input to the spring or shock settings as factory delivered. Sure, rider weight plays a role, but not as importantly as on the Rush. If you don't take the time to set up your spring preload and compression, you won't be happy. If you take 20 minutes and play around, well, I think you probably think that this sled is the right fit for you. Corner to corner, I don't actually know if I can rail a sled harder than the 600 XCR Rush, and I have tried. Oh, I've tried. I mean, the ability to back this thing into a corner, feather the brake, and get it to break loose and then use the laser precision of the IFS to target your exit point, yeah, that's something only a 120-inch sled can do like this. When you grab a mitt full of momentum, there's no shortage of go on tap, and you wonder if maybe they got the graphics wrong. You'd swear this thing's an 8. And back to the front end. I don't care what your opinion is, and this is coming from a guy who bled yellow for almost 13 years of my snowcross career, the IFS on this sled is flawless. I mean, rail this sled as hard as you want, and you won't overdrive the front end. It doesn't do weird stuff or snap the bars out of your hands, even when you see a frozen landmine on the trail and cringe with the fear of what's to come when you make a direct hit. Yep, nothing scary, just confidence. I don't spend as much time on trail as I do off, but when I do spend time on trail, I want a sled to deliver everything that I ask of it, and the XCR package gives me all of that. From premium Walker Evans piggybacks on all 4 mounts featuring so many clicks of high and low speed compression, you're not going to know what to do. You need to set this thing up. Don't just crank it, tune it. The handlebar positioning is spot on, and while the wind coverage is, well, a little lacking, this is the stuff this class is made of and matches the competition. Plus, you can always spec it with a big windshield at SnowCheck if you want. The digital GPS gauge and LED headlight is something I think that should be on every sled, and I can't believe the competition hasn't caught on. And while the seat is very comfortable and easy to move around on for aggressive riding, it's not the best in the business, but it ain't the worst either. I typically don't gravitate to the 600 class when I'm riding off trail, but when I'm riding fresh groomed on the flat top, I think Luke and Mark are going to find that they're going to have to put up a pretty dang good fight if they're going to want to wrestle this 600 Rush away from me.